This is the start of doing time in Ohio, and one of the strictest prisons the state has to offer.
Turn around, arms straight out.
Inmates here have to toe the line or face the consequences. For 1 year, National Geographic followed the lives of inmates and officers in the state of Ohio. It's a system bent on making inmates better, filled with convicted felons who might already be worse.
Get out of my face.
This is a year of hard time. This is how more than 50,000 people begin their day in the state of Ohio. They are all behind bars, in prison, convicted felons doing time. Each inmate charts their own course, sets their own routine. Some break the rules. Others get in fights.
Still cramping?
And while most quietly serve their sentence and go home, they all begin their time the same way. For the newly convicted, this is the last view of the free world. The small town of Orient, Ohio. Home to the Correctional Reception Center, known as CRC. A prison of 1,600 inmates, maximum security. The first stop for doing time here.
When that van pulls up to that back, and you're going into a sally port that's filled with all that razor wire, your mind's in a fog. You don't know what's going on.
And for that sick moment, you'll have a smile on your face. But then reality hits you. You pull up at that back gate. It's over. It's time to pay the piper.
Ohio is home to the 6th largest prison system in America. And CRC is the beginning. This is where more than 14,000 inmates each year are sized up, classified, and moved on to serve out their sentence. But keeping the process flowing means some of the strictest control the inmates will see during their time. Movement on the yard is always in single file lines. Movement inside, single file lines. And breaking rank brings immediate action by the officers.
Sure. Sir. Look in your pockets. Turn around. Arms straight out. I will be watching for you the rest of the time. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Get.
All right, let's go.
It is rigid control that can be seen everywhere you look at CRC. Rigid control that begins the moment new arrivals walk through the back door and enter a maze of blind corners and side rooms. That is intake.
Move down. Just move all the way down. That's good right there.
They don't tolerate. They don't cut you no slack.
Take your shower shoes off. Put one inside the other. Sit them in front of you. Take the jumpsuit off. Roll it up. Sit it on top of shower shoes.
This is the first place they come. They're completely stripped naked.
Let's go. That's good.
You gotta do what they say do. When they say do it, how they say do it.
Hands all the way up, fingers open.
Some people, you know, they're not used to that. Well, they've been doing things their way for so long.
Pull your tongue out. We're looking for contraband, pills, marijuana, anything that they can keister up their butt. Next cell.
That's the turning point, you know?
Let me have your hand.
I've seen guys come through the doors and just break completely down when they realize that they're no longer a free, independent American. You're property of the state of Ohio from that point on, man.
Intake is just the beginning of the classification process.
Sit back, look straight ahead.
And regardless of the crime, every inmate undergoes the same scrutiny.
The key to surviving the whole thing is just to mentally be tough and try to adapt to everything and just do it. I mean, you have to do it.
Stand over by that sink.
I mean, if you don't do it, they got something for you.
Repeat offenders like Aaron White have been locked up before, and he has a marking that stands out.
Wait, what's it say right here?
It should say Honor, Brotherhood, and Loyalty.
His tattoo represents the Saxon Knights, a group classified as a white supremacist gang. It is a symbol of how Aaron White chooses to do his time.
I like to walk tall. I mean, that expression, walking tall, I think that I intimidate just the way I look more than anything else. That's why I wear my hair the way I do in here. When I'm outside, I got a lot of hair. In here, I shave it. I always look pissed off. And By walking around like that, nobody messes with you.
White has already served 8 years in Indiana. Now he's in again, 1 year on felony theft, and he still faces a federal case for bank robbery.
I'm 35, I'm too old for this. At Pendleton, I was the enforcer, so when anybody owed money, I was the guy that had to go collect it. And 9 times out of 10, if they didn't have the money, the guys would fight you, and that's a lot of fighting. I'm not here to make friends. I mean, I'm here to go home.
From convicted robbers like White to murderers and rapists, CRC is the prison that sees it all. And while most follow the rules and do their time peacefully, inmates like Rodney Ruggles seem to come in with their own agenda.
I'm a short timer, so I don't care. I got a reputation. No matter what I do, I'm gonna keep that, especially when it comes behind these walls. We broke the law on the street for not listening and doing what we wanted to do. So we still come here with that mind. I'm rebellious against authority. I do what I want to do, not what somebody tells me to do.
Ruggles is back in prison again and preparing himself for another stretch at CRC. He's a repeat offender and no stranger to fights.
For me, I consider fighting recreation. It's sick and twisted. When I begin throwing my fist, I want to go until you can't move no more. I don't plan for tomorrow. I don't live on yesterday. I gotta go with the flow. It's just what you gotta do in here.
As Ruggles and White settle in, the business of CRC continues at intake, where Marquise Hayes has just stepped off the bus and is getting his first taste of prison in Ohio.
There was a lot of stress going on with me, you know what I'm saying? You think about everything that you see and heard about prison, how inmates get stabbed and everything, think about all that.
Date of birth?
1/8/91. It's like, when I used to watch it on TV, I couldn't imagine myself in here.
Have your hand.
So now it's like I'm seeing what I was seeing on TV.
Today marks the beginning of the young inmate's sentence and the end of the short road that led to conviction.
I was gangbanging. I was the type that'd rob people, you know what I mean, breaking in the house. That's the type of person I was.
On a summer night in 2009, Marquise Hayes stole a car and took a joyride with a friend.
And I took the police on a high-speed chase in the car that was reported stolen. They charged me with failure to comply and attempted grand theft.
Facing up to 6 years hard time, Hayes took a plea and was sentenced to 20 months for attempted theft and running from the law. It's 20 months to leave his former life behind.
I was a young man who was out there. I was carrying guns, running the streets, you know what I mean, repping my hood, and always looking for trouble.
Can you get your left?
Yeah, I had regrets, but at the same time, I gotta learn from the mistakes that I made.
Ohio may be the right place for a first-timer like Hayes to do his time. Here, prison is about more than just incarceration. The department offers rehabilitation programs in the hope that offenders never return. But before the classrooms and the workshops, there's the main business of CRC. Figuring out who the inmates are and classifying them. And to keep that process moving, Hayes and all new inmates live apart from the rest of the prison for the first 3 days in a tier called R Unit, where the rules of conduct are strict.
This is R2, State of Ohio Intake Prison, right? This is an orientation intake block.
You don't get telephone privileges, you do not get recreation time.
You get no commissary?
This is not general population. The only thing you got ready to do is to sleep, stay quiet, and leave R2. Personal conduct inside these cells will be upheld at all times.
R Unit is the first stop, the first cell, and the first place where the officers lay down the rules for daily life at CRC.
You will not talk from the time you come out of your cell, time you get back in your cell.
We're not trying to scare them, but the officers run the institutions around here, not the inmates. I yell out loud, get ready for chow. That means get the hell up and get ready for chow. You get fully dressed, your ID, step outside the cell, keep your mouth shut. I run a quiet block. That's the way it's going to be. I understand we ain't nothing to do. We're in a small-ass cell. You're celled with another man, all right? Nothing to do. Keep yourself, keep quiet, try to keep mentally sane inside here, all right? You guys got that?
Go ahead and lock it down. The guys that have their bags and have not got a cell assignment, come up here and see me.
Orientation marks the end of Hayes' first day at CRC. All that remains is a cell assignment, and a cellie who will be the new kid's only company for the next 72 hours.
I'm only 30 years old, but I can't cell with a kid. If I was to have to pick a cellie, I'd want him to be another me. You know, and I'm not the easiest to get along with myself because I'm picky, but I have that right to be. I moved in here first. This is my cell. He's just coming in to fill the other bed, that's it.
I was 22 when I first got locked up, and I got out when I was 30. And it seemed like the younger generation always tried to prove themselves, and they're always the troublemakers, always.
Hayes is assigned to cell 2051. His cellmate, Aaron White.
Since I first stepped in here, it's a reality check. It's just something that it really shocks you. Stuff is crazy. Hey, I get through it, though. I'm gonna get through it. Ain't got no choice but to do it. Now that you really sit down and think about it, it really ain't worth it. And I'm young, I'm only 18. I just turned 18, you know what I'm saying, a couple months ago, so, you know what I'm saying, it's an eye-opener for me. You know what I'm saying? Stuff is crazy. And I just gotta deal with it. I gotta accept the fact that I'm here. Keep tearing up, keep whining and complaining about stuff ain't gonna change nothing. It just make my time worse. I feel this ain't for me, you know what I'm saying? I did a lot of things that's wrong, but yeah, sometimes it takes this to open up people's eyes who was out there moving too fast, man. And I was one of them people, and now I'm in a place like this.
Time's what you make of it, you know, it's all about you. If you want your bit to be easy and you want to stay active and keep your mind on things, then that's what you're going to do. But if you want it to be a hard bit, if you want it to hurt, that's when it's going to be a hard time.
Say up some more, up some more.
It's day 2 at CRC for Marquise Hayes and Aaron White. And a prison veteran is teaching the new inmate his way of doing time.
Yeah, come on.
What may look like a casual workout is an indoctrination of sorts. A crash course in being a teenager behind bars.
Being that young and everything, it's huge. And you're really intimidated, and when I was 18, I didn't know about nothing.
You'll be all right, man. First time doing this.
There's guys that want money, there's guys that want sex, there's guys that want both. They're all over the place. You gotta stand up for yourself, and you gotta be willing to go all the way. There you go. People always see what you're doing, so if you're working out like crazy, you know, the bigger you are, the more prestigious you are in there. It seems, you know, you got nothing else, so it's just the way you carry yourself. So the bigger you are, you know, the better off you are, all the way around. Right. And then when you get out, you look good too. You know, you want to look good when you get out of the joint. So.
Big boy guns.
Hayes is learning the ropes from someone who's been in prison before and getting a lesson in the prison mentality. Here at CRC, though, the state of Ohio tries to offer a different path, in the hope that an inmate's first time in prison is also his last.
A lot of y'all already know what gangs is. And for y'all who don't, you're about to find out. Guess what? They just get a whole crew.
It is an effort that starts with the first-time offenders meeting, where the hard realities of doing time are laid out by the lifers in the prison.
You know, the first thing you want to do when you come to prison, everybody want to be tough. And nobody in here tough. Because when you come through the back door, somebody back there told you, get naked. Guess what you did? You got naked.
This room's full of people the society had to get rid of so that society could function right. We're the screw-ups, man. This is your chance to change it. If you do,
the meeting is a scared straight program of sorts. Inmates who might never get out force the newcomers to face the consequences of their choices.
Within 3 years, 2/3 of you will be back in these chairs on your second bit. If you don't fix yourself, you're coming back. There's no gray area about it.
You are not going to be the same the day you walk out the door. You're going to be better or you're going to be worse. The fork in the road is in front of you. Take whichever path you want. As long as we got one of you guys.
For short-timers like Hayes, the system's efforts just might have an effect. But others are harder to reach. To 20-year-old Chaz White, the first-time offenders program is less about the road to rehabilitation than settling a score. On the streets, Chaz was a drug dealer, and sitting across from him looks to be a mark. With at least 20 years hard time ahead of him, it looks like old habits are hard to break. Chaz White was born in Columbus, Ohio, to a family already in the system. Both his father and uncle serving time. And at an early age, he started to chart his own course.
12 years old, I'm just like, Dad locked up. When he out, he running the streets, ain't doing nothing for my mom. I gotta do something, so I started selling cocaine. Soft is what we called it.
On a January night in 2009, Chaz was arrested for shooting a man twice and leaving him for dead.
10 days later, I get an indictment. Count 1, attempted murder. Count 2, aggravated robbery. Count 3, felonious assault. Count 4, robbery. Count 5, robbery. And count 6, theft. And found me guilty on every charge and sentenced me to 27.5 years at the Ohio Department of Corrections.
Now at CRC, it appears as if the street hustler is trying to get back in the game. In the hand of the second inmate, pre-stamped envelopes. They are a down payment on an overdue debt.
Say I lend you 3 envelopes, but I tell you in return, I want 5 or 6 of them. It's called interest, which is normal, I think. 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna go 6, I'm gonna 7. If you in your heart or in your mind, or whatever the case may be, know that you don't have, how can I put it, the greatest intentions on paying me back, or you know it's a possibility that you're not gonna pay me back, don't take it. Just let me know up front, because I'm gonna think you trying to pull some funny and I'm gonna give you something you don't want. That's how people make a living. You hustle, you make money, you do what you gotta do.
Oh, bird, march. You on it?
Trading of any sort is banned here in Ohio. It is an inmate business that can breed jealousy, debt, and with it, violence.
Get away from the toilet now.
So CRC does its best to stop the illegal activity with regular shakedowns and cell searches. There is no hard currency in prison, so everything has value. And here, pre-stamped envelopes are treated like cash. Cash that can get you what you want. Coffee, candy, even contraband like tobacco.
This is prison money. These are going for $50 in reception, a bag.
Despite the prison's efforts, though, the trade goes on. Especially among inmates like Chaz, whose long sentence means that he's last in line for schooling and job training.
And here, I mean, you got your own self to live for. You gotta take care of yourself. It's like the block. Like being on the block.
Chaz is just 2 weeks into his time at CRC, but has at least 20 years of prison ahead of him.
When you come to prison, if you want, you can run a store, you can smoke dope, drink hooch, you can run around, you can spend half your bit in the hole. You've got a choice when you come in. You can either stay how you are or get better. But if you don't get any better, you're probably coming back.
White, Hayes, pack it up.
Another day at CRC for Aaron White and Marquise Hayes. And it's time to move out of our unit.
Just looking forward to a change. You know, it's good to get out and get something else, other surroundings, other people, other views of the outside, everything. It's just the change is better.
The classification process is now complete, and they're headed to general population. The transfer means a new unit and new cellmates.
Is there a Hayes in here? Oh, man, shit.
Take care, dude.
See you already.
The old convict and the new kid part ways. Hayes' new unit is B3, and although control is tight all across CRC, inmates say this tier is the strictest. Something the new kid needs to learn fast.
Man, this part really is laid back. First shift cool, whatever, but second shift don't be on that man, period. You in the way, you talking, you ain't supposed to be talking, stepping out of lines, being loud in the rooms, talking through the windows, anything like that, man. They're gonna give you what you got coming, period, you know what I'm saying? All they want is respect. We're in their house, you know what I mean? So we follow their rules, plain and simple. Try to stay out the way as much as you can, man.
For Aaron White, the transfer to B3 is his last at CRC.
See y'all later.
In a matter of days, he will ship out to face federal charges for bank robbery. Hayes is on his own now, to make his own choices. Chaz White is also on the move.
Yeah.
While others are taking classes, Chaz is headed to the store. Store day comes once a week for inmates at CRC. More than 350 items, purchased with money put on inmates' accounts by family and friends on the outside. For most, the cakes, soups, and soap offer a small relief from the daily routine. But the goods also fuel the underground economy in a world without hard cash. Trading goods is strictly banned in the prison. For inmates like Chaz, though, whose long sentence means he's last in line for prison-run programs, the illegal trade represents a way to get back into the game.
You know, I just sell drugs. Part of selling drugs is not fame, but popularity.
Tonight, Chaz will divide up his take into easily sellable portions, much as he did with drugs on the street.
Me, I could be the store man. I might grow into being so much of just being in prison and seeing the money making and the extra this, extra that, popularity too. That might be all I know.
Chaz is charting a course that can be a dangerous one behind bars, continuing his life of crime. And just like on the street, crime here is punished. Inmates in cuffs are a daily sight at CRC. And most end up back here, in segregation. This is the hole, where the rule breakers serve jail terms of sorts. Prison time continues, but life back here means days on lockdown. No phone calls, no commissary, no movement. And today, a familiar inmate has returned. Rodney Ruggles.
My nickname's Rebel, and that's what I do. But I'd rather be seen as an assassin.
Ruggles' rap sheet stretches over a decade. Drugs, burglary, assault. Each sentence was short, but repeated parole violations had meant Ruggles has been a regular in the system. And the evolution shows. Whether by choice or by circumstance, Ruggles fashions himself a predator, something he seems to carry with him on the streets as well. He's in prison for an attack at a bar after another man approached his girlfriend.
He grabbed my girlfriend by the front of her shirt. I ran over, I snatched him away from her, slammed him through the back door, took him over to the motel and beat his ass. Beyond recognition, I guess you could say. I stomped his neck through his back, and that was my intention when I seen him touch my girlfriend, yeah. And it was worth every day I'm doing right now for that.
Ruggles has a year to serve and is doing 2 weeks in the hole for fighting. A fight involving his target of choice. A class of inmates that to Ruggles stand out in the crowd. Sex offenders, rapists, and pedophiles.
I look for them, yeah. That's my hunt, and it's a thrill to do so. It's like going deer hunting. You know, you put a deer stand out there, you wait, you watch, you listen. And an experienced man that hunts, that's what he thrives on. It's nice to find that pedophile out of 2,000 people. It's like finding that buck in a 10,000 acres property. You know, there's my mark, I'm gonna get it. And I enjoy it when I'm doing it.
Ohio may pride itself on rehabilitation, but the choice to do better comes down to the inmate. And so far, Ruggles has made his intentions clear.
You don't never know what's going to happen, you know what I mean, one day to the next. That's the way prison is. If you cross anybody in prison, I mean, you got that chance. It's getting hurt, up, fist fights. A lot of people get shanked like that. They just don't play.
Release day has come for the segregation unit at Ohio's intake prison. He has served his time for fighting. And today, Rodney Ruggles is getting out of the hole. Just like the free world, every crime in prison comes with a sentence. And Ruggles' fight got him 12 days. Now he's headed back out to general population.
When I step out on a compound, wherever they put me at, every one of these blocks has got a sex offender in it. At least a rapist and at least one pedophile. My motivation is, real 100%. All 30 years since I was in diapers, I was mad as hell at my dad and I didn't know who he was. He's a sex offender himself. My hate and my rage, that's where it comes from. To me, he's just another sex offender and a pedophile. But he's just number one on my list. I come here, I don't have no problems. My reputation speaks for itself. My institutional record speaks for itself. I'm not proud of it. But if I'm disrespected, I'm gonna put my fist in their mouth. If I find a pedophile, you guys look for me in the hole. I don't mind going, but I don't want to go. But it's just, it is what it is.
Ruggles' release means a return to the normal routine at CRC. And today, inmates are on the move, headed to the yard, where twice a week, units get outdoor rec. This is Ruggles' first yard call since segregation. And he and his crew are already clicking up. Out here, the rules are simple and clear.
Stay out of my business. I don't want nobody intruding on what I'm doing.
Somebody looks at you funny, what are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna have problems.
Respect in here is the most important number one thing that survived West Penitentiary.
Prison yards are about territory. Territory you mark and hold.
Dude went in the bathroom and I beat the piss out of him. He came out and
Today,
I beat him up.
an inmate is trying to force his way into the group. The ultimate sign of disrespect on the yard.
Everybody's 61 days left.
I know. I got 110. I was 13. I don't give a. I don't give a.
You, man.
That's what it's supposed to be. Whatever that guy's name is, just wouldn't shut up.
You're
talking to me, dude. On some real. You're talking to me. He should have never even been there. He wasn't asked to be there. I didn't invite him in my conversation, and I sure didn't invite him to push between me and my other dude and touch me and just continue on running his mouth.
Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom.
Get out my face, dog. People have a reputation, and I gotta keep mine. Behind these walls, it's the mentality.
I'm talking.
I'm just telling you what you want to do. You want to do it? I'm not here to impress nobody, but I'm here to maintain my reputation. And my mentality is up.
You want to do it? You want to do it for real? You want to do it for real? I didn't think so. Get out of my face.
Cool down, dog. Cool down.
It took everything I had in me not to put my hands on him. And that's like, it shocked me. You know, I wanted him to step up and I wanted him to hit me as hard as I was fixing to hit him. I didn't want him to be afraid. You know, and I was hoping he could fight. I hope he had heart. I found out everything. He ain't got nothing but a blue shirt on it and a MAID.
Dude, I was gonna blast him, but I stepped back.
Ain't worth it.
Ruggles is back to his old ways and headed for trouble. Marquise Hayes is entering his 4th week at Ohio's Correctional Reception Center. A month that has been a series of firsts. First time in prison, first time on lockdown, first tutelage in the convict code. And now he's facing another. A first birthday behind bars.
Happy birthday, bro.
Just give him a bag back.
Yeah, okay. That's a bag.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
And even in his new dorm, he's still being looked out for by the old-timers.
That was a real slick way of looking out for me, though. I look like I got some couple noodles, some chips, couple cakes, that little snacks, get me through the day, whatever. You know, I can't get a lot, you know what I mean? I got this, though. Like I said, I ain't got too much of my own, so, I mean, I'm gonna take it in stride with it, something I appreciate. We got a little girl to go home to that's missing me, you know what I'm saying, my family. So really, you know what I'm saying, make this my last birthday I spent in jail.
The birthday is a reminder of the things left behind. But it also seems to be another lesson for the young inmate. That there may be a way to do time well. And Hayes is taking full advantage of the things Ohio's system has to offer.
Start my school today. That'll be something cool. Get this little process started, man. Trying to make this my last trip, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people come back, but I ain't trying to fall back into my old ways. Trying to change the best way I can.
Hayes is settling into his time, hitting a stride and establishing a routine. Routine, though, can bring with it comfort and complacency.
Pay attention, turn around.
And while the system offers opportunities to change for the better,
Get your shoulder on the wall.
CRC is still a prison built on control.
You, little guy, come here. What are you doing out of the line?
And with that control comes strict standards of conduct.
Get out. Put your hands on the wall. What's your problem? Huh? Spread your legs. When I ask you to do something, I don't need all the attitude. You just need to do it, and that's the end of it. I don't need to know you. I don't need to get in your face. I don't need to pat you down. You do what you're told. Understood?
At CRC, it's the little things, like an untucked shirt or sagging pants, that make you stand out to the officers. And once noticed, you will be dealt with.
You know goddamn good well you ain't supposed to be doing it. Am I right or wrong? Right. You look like your uniform up and you want to spring kick with who's on the goddamn top range. Fix your You understand me? Is it funny, Cat? Because if you want to walk down that range smiling like it's funny, you can come right back down here. We can finish it. Go stand by your door.
The segregation unit at Ohio CRC is the jail within the prison, where those who break the rules do their time. And today, a regular has returned. Rodney Ruggles. He's back in the hole, again. Another stretch on lockdown for fighting.
I'd rather do my time back here, yeah, because I ain't bothered with a bunch of idiots. But at the same time, I don't want to live with whoever they put in my cell. I want to do it by myself. I wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock and work out an hour before breakfast. I eat breakfast, work out for an hour. Lay down, take a nap, wake up, do the same thing before dinner, and work out 2 hours before I go to bed. That's how I do my time. I guess some people see me as dangerous. Don't disrespect me. I'm not disrespecting you. I don't know if people see me as a threat or how they see me, but hopefully they see when they do look at me, they know it's Rebel coming. That I know.
Segregation is the end of the line for Rodney Ruggles at CRC. He'll sit in the hole as punishment until his time here is done. For Marquise Hayes, though, time at CRC ends as it does for most.
Hayes.
Today he's being prepped for his transfer.
Back up. Right now.
Hayes is being sent to a medium security prison closer to home. The challenge ahead is staying on the right path. The path to rehabilitation.
When I first came in here, I was lost. I was young, I had a mindset of some game of really being blind to the fact of what's really going on. With me crying and going through the things I was going through wasn't gonna change nothing. So I had to man up and really accept what I had. So really, I just got to keep myself motivated and keep striving for the better. One flawed mistake to bring you back in here.
Yeah, this ain't the place you want to be.
All right, got your bag?
Chaz White is preparing for his ride out as well.
White.
Facing at least 20 years, the road ahead is a long one.
I only been here a month. That made my month turn into 5 years. I feel like I've been here for 5 years. Years as hell. Hard time for real. I just gotta try to be a man about stick my chest out and just get the route I'm going.
White is headed to the higher security side of Ross Correctional Institution, where the temptations of living the convict life are everywhere.
I hope I just don't get over there and fall into the same thing, because I mean, just from the little bit of taste here, I already know enough about Ross. It's about hustle and survival, and that's how it was for me. I just hope I don't get back into my mode all the way of hustle and survival. Getting greedy. That's when everything turns bad.
Hayes and White dress for the transfer. Their time here at CRC has come to an end. Two very different inmates face two very different paths forward. And the choices they make will determine whether or not they'll do hard time. It's just another day at Ohio's Correctional Reception Center. The vans and buses keep pulling in. New arrivals, new sentences, new inmates to the system. It is a cycle that never stops.